And today, wow, we are diving into a story that really shook up the NFL landscape recently. A massive trade involving one of the league's, well, most dynamic players, Micah
Oh,
Parsons.
yeah. Big news.
Huge. We're talking about his move from the Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers. Okay, let's unpack this. We've gone through what Parsons himself has said about this whole thing, trying to really get under the skin of this transition.
Right. Because it's more than just swapping jerseys, isn't it?
Definitely. It's a story about, a personal journey, his ambitions, and just the psychology of an elite athlete facing a massive change, a completely new chapter.
And a trade like this, I mean, for someone of Parsons' caliber, it's never just about the X's and O's.
Yeah.
What's fascinating here is digging into his own words, trying to understand the emotion, the thinking behind the headlines.
You get that unfiltered perspective.
Precisely. It tells you so much more about what's really going on in his head during such a, disruptive moment in his career.
So let's start right there with the emotion. Leaving Dallas, you could almost hear it in his reflections. He said, to Cowboy Nation, just thank you. And he mentioned being a simple guy, about principle, and that he'd never really left Pennsylvania before being drafted, so Dallas became like a second home. He thanked the fans, the players, specifically mentioning missing Trayvon Diggs.
My dog's 7.
Yeah. Calling him like a brother. That's deep, leaving that behind. And then he said, I wish things didn't have to be like this. That hits hard.
It really does. And it makes you wonder, is that just, the expected sadness of leaving, or is there maybe something more, like that internal conflict players face, loyalty versus ambition, especially when the choice isn't theirs?
That's a really good question, because we often see these trades as just, business, cold transactions. But that phrase, I wish things didn't have to be like this, it underlines the human cost, the personal side.
Absolutely. And he was remarkably open about it, too, admitting these last 4 months have probably been the hardest 4 months of my life. It's quite a statement.
Yeah.
He talked about feeling like the soldier of the family, that pressure, and feeling unsure of himself during that whole uncertain period. But what's interesting is how he flipped it.
How so?
Well, he said that time actually made him mentally stronger. It showed him whatever happens, you can't really control it. Even when he wasn't officially with the Cowboys, couldn't train with them, he was still out there working, pushing himself.
Finding his own way through it.
Exactly. And that journey from feeling lost to finding that inner strength, this raises an important question. How might that whole experience, that challenge, shape how he approaches Green Bay now, this season?
Will that resilience show up on the field? Not just physically, but mentally?
Could be. It's a powerful reminder that these guys, even at the top of their game, deal with very human things like uncertainty, loss of control.
And he drove that home by saying he had no say in where he got traded to. Just reinforces that reality for so many players. But even with all that turbulence, he seemed to pivot pretty quickly, finding the positive in landing with the Packers. He felt lucky, he said.
And that's where you hear the shift, right? The move to Green Bay. Suddenly the tone changes.
Yeah, definitely. You hear the enthusiasm. He talked about seeing the Packers fans online going crazy for him even before the trade happened. Said he never really knew how crazy the fan base was.
Welcome to Green Bay.
Right. But his immediate reaction was super positive. I'm happy for this opportunity. I'm happy to be here. I'm ready to win some games. Just embracing it straight away.
That optimism, that readiness to turn the page, it really does stand out. Suggests he's mentally already there.
And what about his comments on Coach LaFleur? That seemed significant, too.
Very telling. He called LaFleur one of the best coaches in the game. And crucially, he mentioned how the Packers had game planned against him in the past. Think about that.
Right. He knows LaFleur's thinking from the other side.
Exactly. It's not just joining a new coach. It's joining someone whose strategic mind he already respects as an opponent. If we connect this to the bigger picture, that pre-existing respect from a star player, that signals a potential for real synergy, for quick integration into the system.
Like there's already an intellectual connection there.
Precisely. He's not just joining a roster, he's joining a football philosophy, a leader he already gets.
That makes sense. That initial respect has got to help. But how fast does that turn into, real leadership in a new locker room, especially coming from a rival?
That's the challenge, always. But Parsons seems aware of it. He shared that moment at Lambeau Field, seeing the legends on the wall, Reggie White, Brett Favre.
Yeah, he said he looked at that and thought, I got to be there.
I got to be there. That's powerful. That's not just about this season. That's legacy talk.
So how does that kind of long-term ambition that got to be there, feeling at a new place, differ from just wanting to win now? What's the psychological shift there?
Well, legacy-driven players, they often have this intense long-view focus. It's not just about stats this year. It's about cementing a place in history. It can be an incredible motivator, maybe a bit of pressure too.
And moving from Dallas, which has history but recent playoff struggles, to Green Bay with its championship pedigree, seeing those names must feel different.
It's almost like validation, maybe, a confirmation that this is a place where that kind of lasting greatness, winning championships, is truly possible. It could shift his focus from just being dominant to being dominant and winning it all.
He also talked about finding that comfort zone after talking to family, other players, making it feel like Penn State, it's like home.
Right, and finding that sense of belonging quickly is huge after being traded. He clearly sees this as the next step, saying, this is a place I can take my next step and continue to have a great legacy here. He's already picturing a future there.
Okay, so he's thinking big picture, legacy, home. Let's get down to the field. His philosophy, how he fits into that Packers D, he loves versatility, right?
Oh, absolutely. He said, I like to move around. I think that created the matchups that we like. He gets the strategic side.
And he's realistic, too. Let's be honest, man. It's hard to get to the quarterback in this league. You got to run favorable matchups. He's not just raw talent. He understands the game within the game.
And that versatility. Strategically, it's gold. Especially for a defense like Green Bay's that likes to disguise things, bring pressure from different spots. Think about it. One play, he's an edge rusher. The next, he's lined up off the ball, maybe even dropping back.
Nightmare for offenses.
Total nightmare. And physically, he sounds ready. Physically, I'm great. I can contribute a lot. He's already talking about working with the doctors, creating a plan to ramp things up, get into a flow.
No easing in.
Not at all. What's fascinating here is his very clear statement. My plan is to be here. They didn't give up what they gave up for me to sit on the sidelines. That's a declaration. He intends to make an immediate impact.
That determination plus the skill set.
Wow. And it kind of brings it full circle, back to him feeling lucky that Green Bay was already tough. He mentioned getting ready to play them, wanting revenge.
And now he's on their side, adding to their history. It's almost like destiny, turning that rivalry into a shared goal.
Okay, but with all this potential, all this excitement, comes the pressure cooker, right?
Yeah.
Expectations are sky high after a trade like this.
Massive expectation.
And he knows it. He said he'd be a fool to not acknowledge there's pressure and expectations given what the Packers traded for him. But he reframes it, sees it as a blessing that Green Bay thinks that highly of him.
Turning pressure into affirmation.
Exactly. So we've talked past, present, now the future. How does he handle that weight? Here's where it gets really interesting. His mindset about winning.
It really is. Because it's not just managing pressure, it's using it. He flat out said, winning is everything to me. I don't think you're going to find a more competitive person on the team or anywhere in the NFL. That's intense.
Doesn't get much clearer than that. And he admits, look, I haven't been there, meaning winning a Super Bowl, and I don't know what it takes. But D, I have a funny feeling that this history, this program does. That's faith in the organization in the Green Bay way.
Trusting the process, the history.
Yeah, and trusting the coach. I trust Coach LaFleur. I really feel like we can do it. And he backs it up with commitment. I'm going to work hard every day to prove that the Packers organization make the right decision in trusting me.
It's about proving them right, not just about himself.
Exactly. He's connecting his personal drive to the franchise's goals. He sees himself as part of that championship tradition now, or wants to be.
So this whole thing for Parsons, it's way more than just changing teams. It feels like a defining moment for his career. Driven by ambition, sure, but also this need to prove himself, to find a home where he can build that legacy.
After feeling so uncertain, finding that new home, that new purpose, seems absolutely key.
So what does this all mean? For you, listening in, trying to grasp this huge move, well, diving into Parsons' own words, you see this arc. The emotional goodbye to a place that felt like home.
Into navigating that really tough personal uncertainty.
To finding a strategic fit and real enthusiasm in Green Bay, fueled by this intense drive for winning and for legacy. His words really open a window into what this kind of massive professional shift feels like for a top athlete.
And maybe this raises an important question for you to think about. Considering he went through, in his own words, the hardest 4 months of his life, faced that deep uncertainty, and now embraces this immense pressure in a new home, how might that whole experience, that disruption and then finding his feet again, change him?
Beyond just the stats, you mean?
Yeah, beyond the sacks and tackles. Could that journey actually influence his leadership, his presence on the field in a deeper way? What does it tell us about resilience, about starting fresh, even when you're already considered elite? Could finding that belonging unlock something even more potent in his game?
Making him not just an athletic force, but maybe a psychological one, too.
Perhaps. It's definitely something to watch. A powerful lesson in adaptation and finding purpose, even when things get turned upside down.
Absolutely. It's a fascinating situation. Well, thank you for trusting us with your sources and for joining us on this deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
We'll catch you next time.